volunteers to help clean up afterwards. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you. You see, and I would like to now introduce our first speaker, Cathy E.
Okay, where do I stand? Here?
Right there.
Over here? Okay. Now I'm really nervous. Okay. Hi, family. My name is Cathy, and I am an addict. All right, I'm really nervous. Bear with me, everyone. So my clean date is 8/12/18. Yes, that is a miracle. I have a sponsor. I am secretary for PACNA, and I am GSR for It Works How and Why, Saturday meeting at Miracles. I'm part of a book study that has possibly saved my life. And I hope the individual who runs that book study knows how much I appreciate them and thank them for their time and helping me to be consistent with that. I'm on my second round of steps. I'm on step 5. And I am beginning to understand the importance of continuing to do the steps over and over and over, because this time I kind of had a spiritual awakening of realizing that I didn't really grasp the understanding of the exact nature of my wrongs. And so I'm seeing cycles of acts or behaviors that I'm repeating, and I'm not, I guess there's uncomfortable feelings that I'm dealing with continuing those cycles, and I don't want to feel those feelings anymore, and I don't want to back myself into a corner either and end up using, because like I didn't share about that stuff or talk about that stuff or have a mindset of I got it, so I'll get to that shortly. But for now, I'm going to start on page 3. I thought of all kinds of things of how to carry the message to you guys, right? Like, I want people, I want members to want this program like the way that I want it, right? So I always want to share something so sound and provoking, and it's like, yes, it's going to make them want to stay, right? But I'm not higher power, right? Like, I'm just a member of Narcotics Anonymous, and the best way that I can do that is just show up and be of service and be the example, right? So I'm going to just keep it simple. Experience, strength, and hope, right? So reading from page 3, I thought that I would start with this paragraph, and then I'll share my experience in the past, and then my experience with me getting to my 6 years. So those of us who have found the program of Narcotics Anonymous do not have to think twice about the question, who is an addict? We know the following is our experience. As addicts, we are people whose use of any mind-altering, mood-changing substance causes a problem in any area of life. Addiction is a disease that involves more than the use of drugs. Some of us believe that our disease was present long before the first time we used. And I have stars by the some of us believe that our disease was present long before the first time we used. So, like, when I was little, I used to steal from Stater Brothers. I used to live in Southern California, and I used to steal from Stater Brothers because I was a poor kid. I was the kid that had to wear the uniforms, and I didn't want to be made fun of. And so I was still like these really cool pens and color pencils and any other like school supplies that I needed. And every now and then I was still a toy. But it's just whatever I could get away with was stuffing down my pants. I would still so that the kids would either accept me, or they wouldn't talk about me, or they thought that I was cool, or I could be the it girl if someone asked, like, oh, hey, can I borrow that pen? Or, and then that progressed to, like, when I was 14 and 15, I was suicidal. I thought that it was a good idea to take myself out, because I didn't feel, or maybe the feelings were too overwhelming, but I just didn't feel a part of, like I didn't have my mom. A lot of you may have heard my story about my mom going to prison when I was 5 because she shot and killed a man. And it's not that my cousin wasn't terrible. It's just that she was my cousin. She did the best she could. She took me in, and she had her 2 kids to take care of. But I just never really felt a part of that family. I always felt like the oddball. And she wasn't very loving in an affectionate way. She was more materialistic. So she bought us stuff to show her love. But as in sitting, cuddling with her, watching movies and stuff like that, she was not that kind of person. So I just felt like I didn't fit in the puzzle. And for some reason, my mind told me that if I took a bunch of pills and I drank my stepdad alcohol, that would be the answer, And I tried that twice and it didn't work. I'm still here. But that is where my mind took me at an early age. So then progressing to in my 20s and 30s when I meet my daughter's dad, and I got into that relationship because he was kind, he was a family man, and I just thought those qualities would be enough, and they weren't. They were not enough, and I began drinking a lot in that relationship, and I didn't live up to my expectations as well, and so I believe that I blamed him for that as well. And then I expected him to show up for me and take care of me in all these ways that I couldn't even do for my own self. And so in that relationship, I was the abuser. I would get blacked out drunk and I would beat him up, and a while later somebody asked, why would you beat someone up that you loved? And it's I didn't even love myself, So progressing from that, we had split up, and then we got back together. And then, he snapped, right? From all the stuff that, he went through with me. Then the tables turned, and then he started abusing me. And he would choke me out until, I pass out, right? And so, the mental place where I was at with that is that I thought that I needed to stay because I was the abuser in the beginning. And I went through that for a while because I thought that I deserved that until finally I had enough. And the fear was that he was going to kill me, So I packed my shit and I left. And, I packed my stuff. And he dropped me off at a bus stop, and he gave me $100, and that was it. So that begins the whole homelessness stuff, right? I was homeless for a few years. So then the whole homeless stuff, accepting being homeless for a while. Like, that was okay. Like, for a while there, I was fine with not having any responsibilities, not being a mom. I have a 14-year-old, and at the time, like, I abandoned her. I had accepted I didn't have to go to work, you know? Like, I was fine being homeless out there. Until, like, I wasn't okay because of the fact that, like, I could see that I was repeating the same thing. Like, even though my mom went to prison, but my mom wasn't there for me. And so I was doing the same thing to Aubrey. I didn't go to prison. I went to jail a lot of times. But I was abandoning her. I was doing the same things. And so that is what would get me down. And then, you know, I would chase and look for drugs so that I wouldn't feel that. But when that wasn't in my mind, I was cool with sleeping in a tent, you know, and getting free resources from the food pantries or Union Gospel Mission or, there's a few of them that helped me out. And then, like, I had enough. It felt like it wasn't safe out there anymore. And, like, I didn't want to die, right? Like, you know, I didn't even want to be an addict. Like, at one point in time, I was going to be a plastic surgeon with my own practice in Venice Beach, right? Like, that was my, you know, my expectation. I set so high for myself, and I failed to succeed. But, like, I knew that I didn't want to die out there in the streets. And I was over in the southeast side of St. Francis, and it was just getting kind of scary, you know, like, I'm not a gangster, I'm a valley girl from Southern California, like, I don't know what you guys are doing, like, I just wanted to get high and just chill, you know, but it started getting pretty scary out there. And so I knew about help because I had gotten it before. I just didn't stay. It didn't stick. I didn't get it because I didn't want to like stop using it. So I would lie and manipulate the system and say, well, if I go to mental health route, then I can avoid the addiction part. And so that's what I would do. I would go and try and get help for the mental health part so I could get housing. But I never like talked about the addiction and stuff. And so like when I came back, my case was going to close. I had one more day before my case was going to close with Imani. And so by the grace of God, like, I don't know, I think that was a sign. Like, take this, you know, take it and do something with it. And so, yeah, like, I was working with Imani for a while. I wasn't clean. I was still using. I was staying with this guy that I didn't even know, but I basically exchanged sex for rent. That was my story. And then Imani got me an interview at the 8x8. And so it was like, you know, I still think about this, you know, like, in an interview, like, I wasn't really being honest. I was kind of like bobbing and weaving all like their questions and stuff. And it finally came to it was like, and I'm like paraphrasing, but basically like they could read like, was I for real? Was I not for real? Because like I wasn't really saying that I had a drug problem, you know? And basically in the end, it's like, you know, I finally had admitted and said, like, okay, I have a problem with crystal meth, you know. And at the time, I thought that, like, I was just trying to, like, please them and tell them what they wanted to hear so that they would let me in. But, like, finally, like, admitting that, like, man, I don't know. It's like weight lifted from my shoulders, you know. And so, like, they let me in by the grace of God. And, you know, my experience with that is that, like, I didn't get it right away, right? Like, at 2 months, I relapsed, I relapsed with someone that was getting kicked out of the building, and that should have been a red flag, right? But my kindness, they needed to move their stuff out of the building, and I was just going to go and help them move their stuff out of the building, and I ended up picking up a pipe, and I got high. And, I think that was it's weird to say, I think that was, the test that I needed to know that, I really wanted to be there. Because I didn't leave the program. I didn't pack my stuff and just not tell anybody. I stayed the whole weekend tripping. But Monday, I came and I told on myself, And it was higher power working for me again. They put me on contract, they kept me. And it was all right, Cathy, what are you going to do? Do you really want this? Or are you just going to keep telling lies and trying to cheat the system? And that's when I really got serious, going to meetings. Hey, there was a lot of people that I just held on to their coattails. I didn't know who you were, but you're going to a meeting, you're going to a speaker jam. All right, I want to come with you. And at some point, there was just a group of us that just committed, we are going to help each other out. We're going to go to meetings together. We're going to go to speaker jams, I got a sponsor that everything in my body was telling me not to get. But I felt that, I needed this sponsor. I honestly, truly believe that if I wouldn't have had my last sponsor, I don't know if I would be here, She is a heavily devout Christian, and it was all about God. It's crazy. So, that's not a bad thing, right? But, our program is a spiritual program. It's not a religious program. But I was just so desperate that, yes, I borrowed my last sponsor's higher power. I did what she told me to do because everything I had done before wasn't working. So I needed a timeout, we're not doing it your way, Cathy. We're going to do it your sponsor's way. And I called her every day at 4:00, every day. Every day for a year and a half, to the point where she was well, I don't think you need to call me every day now. But it's I needed to learn how to to connect with another woman, to trust another woman, to build a relationship with another woman. I didn't get to learn that with my mom. I feel that there are things that you learn with your parents, and I didn't get that chance to learn these things with my mom or my dad. My dad left when I was 1 year old. So I had to learn how to have this relationship with her. And it just meant me getting out of my way and picking up that phone, even if I didn't have anything to say. It's 4:00, hi, I'm here, how was your day? And slowly, we just started, learning and sharing and talking about each other. And then every Wednesday, we met and did step work. And, that's where, I started feeling true love. Unconditional love towards me. I felt that for my daughter when she was born. But I think with her, I got to feel that through the step work, because there was stuff that I was sharing with her that I had never shared with anybody. And she didn't judge me. And she just accepted me. And then she shared stuff, and it was oh, wow, you did that too? It was just a really moving and powerful moment when you get brutally honest with another individual, and just share yourself, and like, you just put it all on the line, And I think, it's like this trust. I also like began to like trust, because I didn't trust for a long time, because I never really had any great opportunities to teach me about that, because people left. Like, everybody just like, they just leave, And so, yeah, like, I trusted my sponsor. I did what she said. And like, through that process, like, I began to build a relationship with the higher power. Now, granted, I borrowed her higher power for a long time, but I began to start like peeling away of like, okay, how do I want mine to look? Because in the literature, like, it tells me that I get to have the understanding, my own understanding. And I think I just had a feeling that like I needed to have that. 10 minutes? Oh, thank you. Okay. And so then, okay, good. Okay. So then that will, that will lead me into like the strength part, right? Like the strength of me being able to like stay here. So like having that relationship with my sponsor, and then developing this relationship with the higher power, like looking back at all the times that my higher power has saved me. Like, I should be dead, like, seriously, the time that, when AJ wrapped that freaking lingerie item around my neck and freaking choked me out until I passed out, I should have died, but I didn't. Or when I rolled my Jeep because I was too drunk, and freaking, by the grace of God, I had my seatbelt on. Or the time I was driving on the wrong side of the freeway at freaking 90 miles per hour. Or, it's just countless times, like, I should have been taken out, but, like, my higher power was there, And then just, like, through the process of, like, just coming to meetings and, like, hearing you guys share and, like, really listening and taking in what you guys are saying, and like hearing how your higher power showed up for you guys, and then like I'm collecting clean time, right? Like, I was someone who came to this program who didn't want to stop using meth. Like, I love meth. If I could use meth today and keep my apprenticeship, stay in the apprenticeship, keep my job, take care of my daughter, have my car, pay my rent, like, I would. Like, I love the effects that meth gave me. Like, there are times like, fuck, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to, I don't want to wash the clothes. I got like a freaking mountain of clothes that I need to wash, or I need to like show up. And I'm grateful that I get to show up. But like, fuck, I got another goddamn volleyball game or a basketball game or something to show up for Aubrey, or like, there's just a lot of stuff like going on. Like, I have this really beautiful life, but man, I get tired, And sometimes it's like, ooh, a little bump of meth will just pick me right up, right? But no, I am not that addict, because that bump will turn into me going to the account, taking out, I'll probably do $100, go find somebody, try and make that stretch, right? Maybe it'll last through the night, maybe to the next day, and then I'm going back to the account, right? And I'm not going to work, and I'm not going to I'm not going to finish that apprenticeship. And Aubrey's going to be like, what the hell? Like, you're not showing up. Why are you not showing up? Like, it's not going to work out. So, yeah, it's not going to work out. So the strength, I find, let's see, I was going to read page 25. See, you write stuff and it just never really goes as planned. But so I wrote page 25, and it's under step 3. We made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. So as addicts, we turned our will and our lives over many times to a destructive power. Our will and our lives were controlled by drugs. We were trapped by our need for instant gratification that drugs gave us. During that time, our total being, body, mind, and spirit was dominated by drugs. For a time, it was pleasurable. Then the euphoria began to wear off, and we saw the ugly side of addiction. We found that the higher our drugs took us, the lower they brought us. We faced 2 choices. Either we suffered the pain of withdrawal or took more drugs. For all of us, the day came when there was no longer a choice. We had to use. Having given our will and lives to our addiction in utter desperation, we looked for another way. In Narcotics Anonymous, we decide to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understand him. This is a giant step. We don't have to be religious. Anyone can take this step. All that is required is willingness. All that is essential is that we open the door to a power greater than ourselves. And so that's why I was going to read that. And so thank you. In the 6 years, I think the toughest part has been how me and my last sponsor split. We split up. We broke up. And I had done things to not displease her or to not displease her God. And so now it's been about finding out how to do recovery for Cathy. How to make the decisions or the choices I make because I value Cathy. I don't want Cathy to hurt anymore. I want Cathy to be happy. As I had said earlier before, there are some cycles that I am seeing that I'm still doing, cycles of acts that I'm doing. And, I'm beginning to question, why am I not standing for my beliefs and my values? Do I even know what they are? I thought that I had an idea, but I'm still doing these 2 things that are not healthy for me. And so, I've been really taking a look at self-love, okay, Cathy, how do you set these boundaries to stand up for yourself? How do you not people please? People pleasing I struggle so bad from, I was telling my friend I may need to go to another type of codependency meeting to take a look at that. But people pleasing and at times my kindness cripples me, and this attention seeking, that's what I'm discovering that I didn't, from doing my second round of steps, I didn't understand the exact nature of my wrong in those areas. Why do I do those things, And so that's where I'm at, is talking with my sponsor, and we're going over that, and a lot of it's just I don't want to be uncomfortable. I don't want to be without. But the things that I think that I'm without, like, I don't need those things. Like, higher power is really, honestly giving me and is providing everything that I need. And so, like, trying to focus on that and be in acceptance of that to satisfy me has been a struggle, you know. And so that's what I'm going to be working on for year 6. It's just like how to set boundaries to help me protect me so that I love myself better through my actions. And so in closing, my hope, this is my hope. I wrote page 220, and I'll wrap it up, Roger. You're going to tell me. There is no substitute. Oh my God, did I write the wrong number? I think I wrote the wrong number. Okay. Well, I think I may have to choose a different hope because I didn't memorize it. So I'll choose a different hope because I think I wrote the wrong page. So, oh, no. Here we go. Okay, so this is my hope. This is out of Living Clean on page 220. It's under the Awakening section. There is no substitute for time in recovery. It gives us a chance to heal, grow up, start over, and build lives that matter to us and to the people around us. But time itself doesn't heal us, grow us up, or start us over. What matters most are the actions we take. Consistent application of the tools of recovery changes us. The process is ongoing. We don't just work the steps, we come to live them. They shape how we think, how we feel, and how we respond to the world. The steps teach us to grow up and help others. We learn to love ourselves by speaking the truth. Accepting our assets is part of our amends to ourselves. But more importantly, it begins the process by which we make our amends to society. Humility is honesty about who and what we are. We come to see how much we have and how much we have to offer. There is a difference between being in the program and living the program. When we come to an understanding of this program for ourselves, it becomes our own and it becomes a part of us. Thank you, everyone. My name is Cathy, and I'm an addict.